sort of normalization of it by just not talking about it. It's the dirty little secrets, you know, and the sort of the plastering this over with hashtags and with market branding and TikTok and you know, NPR tote bags. Like it repulses me. Behind it all is human bodies, and they are the majority of which they are not white.
Right, of course, you know? Of course.
And,
I mean, I will say also, like, I'll bitch about the Clinton Foundation stuff, sure. But I get a little bit like, the Clinton Foundation is a problem, but because capitalism is a problem. And to be a charitable institution in a not just capitalist system, but sitting among a superpower that is one of the largest drivers of capitalism, like, that's going to be true. You know what I mean? Like the Clinton Foundation isn't like uniquely shitty or evil or whatever. It's doing capitalism. It's doing American capitalism. Same with the, like, you know, I mean, same with fucking any, unfortunately, like, large scale, like, charitable foundation, in my opinion. I just know, because there's a lot of, the reason I like want to specify that is because there's so many conspiracy theories about the Clinton Foundation. Like, yes, let's criticize it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about things that it's done, whatever. But let's also, like, everything we talk about, like, let's make sure that it's fucking, we're acknowledging, like, what's legitimate and also the context of where it exists in. It is not a uniquely, like, evil, you know, world controlling fucking organization the way the right is trying to sell it and stuff, you know?
Right. No, that's fair. Yeah. I'm not interested in a whole lot of conspiracy theories, but it does, I don't know, it does baffle me that, I don't know, it's the thing that baffles me about the Democratic Party is, you said, it's going to do what it wants. Then why call it the Democratic Party? Like, why? Like, just,
I mean,
that's not what it is.
Sure, but also, like, it is inherently more democratic than the Republican Party, right? Especially now.
Yeah.
We're talking, like, MAGA is actively trying to destroy democracy. Like, it's crazy that we're at a point where like, it's always bugged me. Not always, because it honestly hasn't been, like, a question until recently that we have to, like, argue on behalf of democracy. And, like, in recent years, I'm like, it's frustrating that the Democratic Party is named that, because people, like, especially on the right, tend to, like, very conveniently blur the lines between democratic as in democracy and democratic as in the party. You know what I mean? And so it's so easy. It's very frustrating, but very easy to turn people against the concept of democracy. If you're like, oh, you know how we hate Democrats? We hate democracy. You know what I mean? Like, to me, I feel like there's, like, a little bit in there. And so it's, like, frustrating to me. I'm like, can we, like, I fucking wish there was, like, an easier way of talking about this that wouldn't, like, instantly turn brains off on the right, who are like, no, but I hate democracy because I hate Democrats. And it's like, but also, it's also valid where it's like, well, right now, genuinely, they're the one party not one, obviously, Green Party, sure. But, like, they're the one major party that is fighting to preserve democracy. A corporatist democracy, sure, but nonetheless, fucking democracy. You know? I don't know. Hi, Kayla. Drink water. Hi, Eleanor. Thank you for the heart.
Drink water.
Drink water. Thank you. Oh, okay, I'm gonna grab my water bottle.
I can't argue at all with anything you said. Because, you're not wrong.
I literally hopped in live because, like, girl, breathe. You need to breathe and drink some water.
I've been drinking water, but yeah, I just got live a few minutes ago. I'll grab my water bottle now. Thank you, Kayla. Sorry, one sec. Hi, Eleanor.
Tenéis beber agua.
See.
Oh, shit. Man, I went to pick up some food. I think my restaurant power went out. Fuck.
I just got off work, and I saw her live, and I'm like, I'm gonna go bug her to drink her water because I feel like I'm her water reminder.
Hi.
Good job.
Thank you. Thank you, Kayla. Kayla keeps me honest. And hydrated, I should say.
I try. I'm sitting outside. I just got done with work, so.
Oh, nice. Nice. Do you have any thoughts on what we were talking about? We're just talking about the 2016
I
election.
literally caught in the tail end of that about Democrats and whatnot, and I'm like, you know what? I already deal with enough political stuff with work. I'm good.
That's fair.
I have to ask people I have to ask people every time they come in, do they want to vote? So.
Really? Wait.
It's part of policy.
Can you remind me what you do? I mean, you don't have to share if you don't want to.
Welfare.
Oh, okay, cool. Gotcha. Nice. So do you help people get registered to vote?
Yes.
That's awesome. Thank you,
And
Kayla.
then they get the stuff too for what political party and whatnot in the mail. So
Gotcha.
I've had people ask me, what political party do I align myself with? And I'm like, I don't know. That's not my choice.
Well, you can choose your alignment.
I choose chaotic neutral.
Got it. Got it.
Oh, chaotic good all the way.
Chaotic, yeah.
Pure chaotic good.
Yeah, I'd like to think I'm a chaotic good. Her little hops, yeah. Just hopping down here.
Ew,
I could see you being like, I don't know, I wanna believe you and say that you're chaotic good, but in the brief time I've met you, I feel like you're like 80% lawful good and like 20% chaotic.
Thank you.
I say this because that your
True.
room looks like very particularly designed, and it works. It's a vibe. Yeah.
It's a vibe.
It's a vibe.
Wow.
It's a vibe that I know is that's it's giving some lawful energy.
Right.
Who the fuck is
Bro.
I gotta get going. I gotta go ahead to the bus. There's a lot of balls outside.
Wow. Can a mod block this person so they don't request again? So actually, I think I can do it.
What a piece of shit.
I'm sorry, what were you asking? I couldn't hear.
No, sorry, I got it. Someone came in here and was saying slurs.
Yep. Hard R.
Oh, 3 followers or 9 following. Harris 2024. Yeah, bullshit, Sarah. Bullshit, Sarah. Which obviously isn't your real name. Thank you, Andrew. Yeah, I was that Sarah person. Yep. Hi, Slip. Yeah, I guess, yeah, lawful in the sense that I like logic. And I think I'm neurodivergent. I know for a fact I have ADHD. It's very possible more than that, additional things than that. But I do have as is described, a strong sense of justice. And I get very upset when things feel unjust or unfair. And
it's crazy.
Yeah. Sorry, go for it.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I was just gonna say it still is crazy to me. I work in the mental health field. It is crazy to me that is an indicator for an SPMI in the DSM. That baffles me. That actually is insane. Like,
why would it be insane?
What does that say about
that's true.
I believe
You're
what
right.
he's saying. What does that say about society itself?
Yeah,
that's a bad
exactly
symptom to have.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that like it is. I probably shouldn't have used the word insane. I apologize. I'm saying it is ridiculous to me that the want for a just society or for things to be fair is a symptom of a mental illness.
Right. Well, technically not mental illness. It's like a neurotype, right?
Neurodivergent.
Yeah.
Right.
Just
That's right.
different.
I'm sorry. I'm still. Right.
Oh,
I'm still. The language gets updated very frequently, so I'm trying to make sure that I'm
Yeah.
Martha, so I apologize.
No, all good, all good. I mean, honestly, a lot of people do refer to it as mental illness. It's just, but it's mental illness. I think is more like depression, maybe anxiety, stuff like that. But I think in recent years, official terminology has shifted, if not just more like, at least in circles discussing neurodivergence, is shifting more to like neurotype, right? ADHD is a neurotype. It's a systemic difference. But also okay, well now we can get into the philosophy of like psychology, right? Technically, all mental illness is a systemic difference, even if it's just a temporary systemic difference, right? Thank you, Eleanor. Thank you for the paper crane.
Kind of, yeah. It's you know, it's the bell curve. You know, you're further to one side of the bell curve, then that would be classified as like abnormal, or irregular or atypical. You know,
Right.
whatever you want to.
Atypical, yeah. Atypical is good. Divergent, maybe.
Whoa, we made a big circle. No,
There we go.
yeah, no, yeah. I also a fellow divergent. I don't know. I'm toying with the idea. I'm toying with the idea of like getting a diagnosis for I shouldn't say getting that. I want to get tested for autism because same deal. Like, you know, have for a host of reasons, but I know for sure that I have I've been tested for like ADD, ADHD. I'm bounced back positive for those because, you know.
Yeah.
vibe.
You should. I am pro getting tested. Hi, Chico. I'm letting you in because I'm a little bored. Hi, Straight Edge.
Hey.
Thanks, Brenna. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Very kind of you.
Yeah, I suspect, I actually just posted this yesterday, but I have ADHD. I have suspected autism. I also have a theory that eventually ADHD and autism are going to go the way of like, of Asperger's and autism, in that I do believe that they're going to be kind of found to be a little bit more on the spectrum than we currently conceive of them. They're so comorbid.
Easily. Like from having myself being diagnosed to working with children who are neurodivergent, who have ADHD, ADD, and autism, that like they feel just like kind of they all feel very easily related, and just certain behaviors that I've noticed in all of them, they seem extremely related. Like,
Yeah.
Will insurance cover the cost of getting tested?
Depends.
I think it depends on the insurance.
yeah, it depends on the insurance. Depends on where you get tested as well, and depends on if
I get pretty
accept.
good insurance. I have Anthem Blue Cross.
Okay.
I've always considered that, because like I said, oh my gosh, my attention span is I don't have a very good attention span, so I've always wondered. So
Right. Yeah. I mean, if
Hey,
you suspect
Joshua,
it.
how old were you when you were officially diagnosed?
I was 19,
How old are you now?
30.
Yeah, so I was diagnosed at 11 and I'm 39. So I was one of the first major diagnosis batches in young adults. And I can remember they threw everything, including the kitchen sink, at us for diagnosis aids, for like prescriptional aids. So we were getting Ritalin first, and then we were getting things called overlay work, which is like a reading overlay work. And then we would get behavioral adjustments. And I think it wasn't until probably like the last 10 years for sure where they started looking at it as more of a divergent instead of a behavioral issue. Because the hyperactivity, I think for me was, in my experience with the doctors, was a significant kind of misnomer, because they would focus on the hyperactivity element of it and use that as a behavioral kind of leverage against you and say, oh, you're super hyper, ergo that's why you don't have focus, instead of it being more of like we were talking about, like a divergent issue.
Yeah.
straightforward. Let me ask you really quick. So, I've got a reason
agree
why
with
I'm asking this. So I'm not trying to be nosy, but did you higher education? How far did you get?
Me?
Yes.
I'm a master's.
Okay, wow, that's impressive. So, so you were diagnosed at 19.
I was diagnosed
And
at 11.
Oh,
Joshua
at
was
11.
diagnosed
I'm
at 19.
sorry.
Yeah, you're
So
fine.
let me ask you this. So the medication you were given to assist you, without it, do you think you could have you would have reached the education that you eventually reached without the medication, or getting assistance?
So I stopped taking my medication when I was in high school, which was a terrible time to stop taking the medication because my brain was dealing with hormones on top of weaning off
Right.
of like pretty intense meds.
Right.
So that
Yeah.
wasn't like a super smart idea. But I think it really depends, right? Because the thing about I've noticed because I'm in business, right? Effectively, the thing that I've noticed is that there are some neurodivergence that can really function well without higher education due to the learning ability, but we're always going to have trouble with structure, and that really wasn't the issue. That really was the issue with me. It wasn't.
Just saying.
It wasn't really the ability to, understand the content of what the education system was giving me. It was the structure. It was waiting until the last minute for homework, waiting until the last minute for a lecture,
Understand.
waiting, all that kind of stuff. But just like most neurodivergence, I was able to digest information at an increased rate over a shorter period of time. So yeah, I made it.
Did you
but
take?
it depends.
Are you on medication now?
No.
So you stopped everything at what? At 19?
I stopped everything at like 14.
Oh wow. Okay,
Yeah.
so you didn't take medication at 14. Were you still given
Victrola.
tools to utilize to assist you, or no?
Not from a systemic perspective, not until I was able to kind of do it on my own. So I started going to therapy when I was like 21. So the era between about 14 to about 21, there wasn't a lot of like tools being given, but I was thankfully involved in a lot of really good communities where neurodivergence was a celebrated thing before we got the terms that we have now. So
Right.
we could bounce ideas and we didn't realize what we were doing, but we were bouncing ideas off each other and bouncing study skills and trying to troubleshoot which would work for us and what wouldn't work. So that was useful. And now that's more of a common practice I would see in school systems as a general
Are
point.
you in therapy now?
Yeah, always.
Yeah, Victrola asked if anyone on
Yeah.
the panel is currently working with a therapist.
I'm starting a virtual one this week.
Nice.
The cool thing is that you get to, it's like a menu. Literally, it's a menu. A picture and their bio, and then you choose one you want to work with, and they tell you right off the bat when you can start. It's like literally like a menu.
Yeah, that's what most modern therapists do.
I mean, it's all virtual now, and I love it.
Have you ever done therapy before?
Oh, I am straighted. I am a veteran
Okay, then you know
of
the drill.
therapy. So I'm on citalopram, 10 milligrams. That really helps me out. But I'm a little bit older, so when I was growing up, they didn't have these tools you have now. Wow, I would have fucking loved that. It was just literally special education, and that was it. And they gave you nothing special, no special tools to deal with it. They didn't even know what it was, as far as anxiety, depression, ADHD. I had probably all of it, but it was such a new study. Now it's like night and day. You know what I mean? So
Well, and also, I just want to also chime in. Victrola has brought this up, and we do sometimes talk about this. Like, well, I mean, firstly, like with anything, right? Like, the more time passes, the more we study stuff, the better we're gonna understand it. And like, we may think we know something about neurodivergence now that give it 10 years, and we're gonna discover that we were wrong about it, right? But not only have we made progress, like most of the progress we have made has been studying ADHD neurodivergence in boys and in men. And it's been even more recently that we started, like night and day, being a kid around. So straight edge, you would have been 11 in the late 90s, right? Like 97, mid 90s, 97, 98?
I was 11 and 96.
96. Okay. So yeah, I mean, obviously what we know about ADHD, neurodivergence and stuff now is very different from 96, but at least, you know, you were getting a diagnosis. And obviously, as you've pointed this out, and we've talked about this, but not everyone on the panel has heard this. The hyperactivity part of ADHD, firstly, ADD is no longer a classification.
Right.
It's all under ADHD. And to me, the best way I can explain the H in hyperactivity, because some people are like, I'm not like constantly moving.
Right.
The hyperactivity is hyperactivity of the brain.
Correct.
It's about, yeah, it doesn't have to be like externally expressed.
Hyperfunction is probably a better terminology than
How are you?
hyperactivity.
Straight, I'm sorry, straight, really quick.
No,
and I don't want to get, I don't want to sound nosy. I'm generally just interested. And this might be a weird question, but how are you in relationships?
Sure, acid.
Well, you were there for the conversation the other night.
I know.
Big
broad question.
I probably don't remember. And if you don't want to answer it, don't answer it.
I can answer in a more general state. For me personally, relationships have been a struggle, but it hasn't been for like any reason other than, you know, understanding, right? So communication is so varied from neurotypical. That's really my style of communication is different from neurotypical and also different from other neurodivergents. I think that because I think in my experience, and this is my opinion, neurodivergent people typically, in my experience, take things are a little more sensitive about certain things. So
yeah, there's rejection sensitive sensitivity dysphoria.
And I am that way. So, but to answer your question more generally, it varies.
And not drop yet. So
it varies.
Yo, I'm gonna drop real quick. I'm gonna drop.
Okay.
I gotta eat dinner. I'm sorry, but
word
was a bit short here on here.
Okay.
But,
well, feel free to come back
you.
up if we're still up
For
later.
sure. Yeah, thank you for thanks for having me up and
nice meeting you, Josh.
Thanks, Joshua.
Yeah, you too, Chico.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm just happy
all
it's on the panel, not drop. So
Yeah, y'all take it easy.
Yeah, word, Josh.
Yeah,
Have
you
a good
too,
one.
Joshua. Come back soon.
I will drop you like a hot rock, Chico. I'm just kidding.
No, go for it. Go for it, God. If he's not behaving, please do.
please.
But let's. So talking about what we have learned in recent years, like, someone else in the thing said, where are you saying? Okay, Minnie Bud said, the boys in my family are more of the moving ADHD than the girls. Correct. Like, so that's a perfect example of like two of the separate things I was saying, right? Like, girls are only now beginning to be studied and understood and stuff. Like, I got my diagnosis in my mid-20s. And while obviously there are men out there who have gotten late diagnoses, it is so much more of a common story to hear that women are getting these late diagnoses. And I have a sneaking suspicion Victrola has a similar experience because she has said, as a girl, they just said I was dumb and lazy. Yeah, I was told I was very smart but very lazy and stuff, you know, and it was all, you know, within all my failings were within my control. In fact, part of the reason today I joined, I was not in a great mood, is because I misplaced something. And that's one of my huge fucking triggers, right? Like, I had a couple times in my life where I lost something or misplaced something. And of course you lose the thing that's important to you, but also you're made to feel like, well, everyone else, no one else loses things or misplaces things. No one else leaves things behind, forgets things. But why are you failing at this? Right? Like, this is your personal failing. You're just bad at things that everyone else is good at. And it's not, and you're not given this explanation of no. Your brain works differently. And no matter how hard you try, you are not going to be able to be good at doing something that your brain just isn't naturally good at. But and so, you know, when I lose things, I mean, usually it's fine. I get really fucking pissed. I get really angry with myself. But eventually it'll build up to a point where today, the first time I lost something small in front of Philippe, I literally started fucking crying. I just broke down because I was like, I don't want him to see me like lose something, you know, simple. It was my laundry card, right? And it like, and still it's like every few items, especially now, I finally found the thing today that like triggered it. I like start fucking like crying, breaking down because I was raised to feel such fucking shame and failure when I would lose things. But also like Mini Mud, sorry, I'm like bouncing around. ADHD. ADHD gets you the job, OCD keeps the job. Yeah, I mean ADHD also, like I've talked about this before. I've been debating like showing this, like making a TikTok about it, but during the pandemic, I started noticing the relationship between OCD and ADHD because during the pandemic, I began developing like OCD tendencies.
100% agree.
Yeah.
Same here. Yeah. Definitely.
And it's like, yeah, exactly, Victrola. It's never a simple thing. It's a pain in the ass to replace keys and debit cards. Yes, absolutely. But this was a laundry card, right? That costs me like $2 to replace. It had money on it, which is a big trigger for me, you know, like losing something of value. Like my mother would have fucking, if I was a kid and I had lost it, she would have like, there's $20 on it. Not a big deal. But my mother would have been like, you just lost money. You just like straight up lost like money. It's a fucking waste. And, but yeah, so stuff like that. And then, sorry, I'm still bouncing around. Mini Mud said, your boys are ADHD, like energy, like the outward hyperactive stuff. In part, like we still don't know this entirely for sure because we're still studying this, but there is like, it is, we do know that at the very least, partially that can be explained by socialization, right? Girls are often missed. They've been underdiagnosed, but also they have symptoms that are often missed because it is like,
it's less behavioral.
But the reason it's partially less behavioral, and I'm not saying like exclusively because of this, but at least partially less behavioral is because we don't beat it out of girls, but we emotionally abuse it out of them. Girls are not allowed to be hyperactive. Girls cannot get messy. I'm not saying like exclusively, but girls are socialized very differently. Boys will be boys, but girls need to be proper and need to behave certain ways. And this doesn't just come from like adults, right? But like it also comes from like girls' peers, where girls in general are socialized a certain way. And so girls and have peers that are being socialized to have certain expectations. It's like social etiquette expectations. So like even from their young peers who are also, of course, learning from their parents, from their teachers and whatnot. It's like neurodivergent girls, a big part of why, at least part, we don't know the percentage, right? But at least part of why they are not outwardly hyperactive is because we abuse it out of them. We don't let them be. I was a daydreamer. You know what I mean? I was absolutely a daydreamer. And like no one would have ever called me an outward hyperactive. It's not like I was running around, you know, nonstop. However, whenever I'm sitting, I'm like, I'd be tapping my knee, tapping my thing. The whole time I would be
100%. 100%. They used to call me They used to call me Thumper as a baby because I would just tap my right foot. So they call me Thumper. Straightforward, really quick. How has structure in your where you live? Do you give yourself structure, and has that helped you?
Yeah. So yes, but I would say it's very interesting because I was really bad in college with structure, but I was really good socially. So I was really good at working my professors, and I would go in there and talk to them or talk to the TA, and I'd be like, hey, look, I'm struggling with this particular part of school, like the lecture part and the essays part. Is there any like alternative options for me to be able to do this, maybe verbally or anything like that? And a lot of my professors, thankfully, were really good about that and helped me, especially my master's professors. They were really, really, really cool about that. So that was one plot, and that was just blind luck that I got that. But in my professional life now, the thing that, and this is going to sound so rudimentary, but I think with most things it usually starts this way, is the thing that helps me the most is literally a notebook and lists, and I write them. Because if you do like a digital list like Notion, which I'm not knocking it, like that's a very good tool as well. But if you could do like digital list systems, that's cool, but it's part of the same system. It doesn't snap you out of what you're doing.
Right.
Whereas if you sit down and you write down something, it, for some reason, at least for me, it kind of snaps me out of my digital work. And it's like, okay, I got to do this. And it trains me to keep looking down at my notebook. Like, what else do I have to do? Okay, what else do I have to do? And then once you have that first or second or third list completely done, that endorphin hit you get of being a neurodivergent person, actually finishing something is like, oh, dope. Like I finished, this is great. Yay, I finished a list. That's what kind of kept me going down the structure thing.
That sounds really great. I'm going to Walgreens tomorrow and getting myself plan book straighted. That sounds something that I need. What?
I just use a regular old like 3-ring notebook.
Yeah.
That sounds great because I have so much shit I had to do today. You know what I did today? I woke up at 9, took my parents somewhere, came home, changed, went to the pool, and I just got home maybe an hour ago. And I had a list of things, or not a list because I don't write lists, but in my head, what I needed to do, I didn't do shit. But help my parents and go to the pool. That's it.
I get it.
Chico, I would say
that's a great idea.
Chico, I would say, and this is my experience also. So Mini Mud mentioned this in the chat, but it's also a very common experience that people with ADHD planners, they're great. When you start with a planner, it's great, but it doesn't last long because once our brain gets used to it, we no longer get that dopamine hit. You know what I mean? Like we're bad at doing stuff like that. Try it for sure. However, certainly. I think a lot of people with ADHD, like me, like straight edge and stuff, like notebooks because
there's no structure to them.
You can decide the structure and then you can change the structure halfway through.
I'll do that because if I see dates and plan, I would be like, oh, what the fuck's this? You're right. Yeah. I'm just going to get a notebook and a really nice pen and do that.
Actually does help.
I have so much shit I had to do today and I didn't get shit done. Okay? And all I did is get sunburned and be at the pool for 5-6 hours.
There you go.
Okay? Yeah. I didn't do shit.
Yeah.
I just think understanding like you can also doodle on it, and that way you stay engaged on it. Like that's how I do it. Like I'm a doodler. Like I doodle all the time when I work.
Also, what saves me is that my house. I have a small house, small brick house. It's cute, and the thing that I find has saved me. Even though I'm not in therapy, but I do take medication, is that I'm very meticulous about cleanliness and organization. I have to be, or I'll have a manic. If I can't find my keys, or something's dirty, or if I don't really have company because I don't like people coming over. I don't like to entertain. I like to do it on my terms. So, but even that's the case, I have to have my dishes done. Everything has to be clean and somewhat organized. And that helps my, whatever I have. But I need that. That's why I'm not currently in a relationship and but I'm just really, I have to be organized as someone. I could never be in a relationship that someone is disorganized or dirty. I just can't. So that helps me because growing up, I grew up in a big Mexican family in the county. We were middle class and everything was in fucking disarray. I mean, it was absolutely.
Start with a notebook. Yeah, start with a notebook.
Certainly.
Start with therapy. And then slowly see kind of what works for you. The cool thing about it is like once you start going down that exploratory path,
that makes sense, Dan.
You'll be able to start kind of augmenting things. That's kind of what I alluded to earlier with being in college, and we were all kind of working together to see, oh, I did really good with this type of hyperleap. I did this really cool type of, study technique, and I'll show it to my friend, and my friend would be like, oh, that's
Kelsey,
pretty
we're
cool.
talking about ADHD.
So it
I
helps.
love that. I certainly will. Matter of fact,
like a
I'll go out
free-flowing
tonight because
discussion.
I have to pick up. I love Coke Zero, and I'm out of it. That's
Go
what
get
I'm
yourself
doing.
some
Another
Coke Zero.
ADHD thing.
I'm like addicted to Coke Zero.
I'm addicted to
an
Dr.
ADHD
Pepper. It's
thing.
fine.
Like, if I don't have
An
one,
addiction
when
to
I want one,
caffeine.
I get fucked up. I don't drink. I don't do any drugs. I drink socially, but I need my Coke Zero, man.
Sorry, Chihuahuan.
And straighted. And I'm also. I've been looking up behavior modification.
Careful with
I
those.
understand.
Careful with
Really,
those.
really.
Yeah,
Why?
careful with those.
Why?
Because you don't know what your behavior modification is going to do with therapy and like really basic stuff. So if you
Okay.
start trying to modify
Thank you, Kayla.
before you really kind of dive into like what works for you,
That
you
makes
might
sense.
hurt yourself more than help
You know
yourself.
what? I'm gonna start slow notebook and choose my therapy tomorrow and get it started,
There you go.
and then go from there.
Yeah, Kelsey.
Good idea.
Right.
Yeah, Kelsey, we said this earlier. I mean, I have ADHD. I suspect autism. I posted a TikTok this morning at like 6 a.m. where I discovered that I am in fact hypermobile. So
I just saw that one, by the way.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, can you pick up your water bottle with the back of your hand?
my what?
Your water bottle with the back of your hand.
So
Pick it up.
put your hand straight up toward your face, and put the back of your palm against the water bottle. The back of your palm, so the back of your hand against it. That part. Yep. Put it against it. Other way.
No, no.
Turn it around. Turn your hand around. Point it down. There you go. There you go. Now,
No, just
try-
like you're going to pick up the cup, but with the back of your hand instead of the front of your
Yeah.
hand. I'm just asking because I can, my daughter can, and I know a few other people who can.
Like this?
No.
with one
As
hand.
if you was going to pick it up, but you put your thumb toward the back of your hand.
This is so confusing.
It's hard to explain, and I don't have a water bottle with me.
break your
Yours
wrist.
yours
break
would
your
not
hand.
bend back far enough.
This is my wrist. This is the back of my hand. This is my palm. These are my fingers.
Just
So-
see how far your fingers can bend back.
Bend back?
Yeah.
You couldn't do it.
No, yeah, I do have it does like extend back. They do bend backwards more than they're supposed to, but not that much. Which is partially why I was like, oh, maybe I'm not hypermobile, like because
There's a lot of criteria in there. Like, do your
Yeah.
elbows hyperextend, the knees?
yeah, a little bit, I think. A little bit.
Yeah, that would count just a little
Okay.
bit.
I'm heading out and having
Later,
dinner.
Chico.
Thank you, straighted. I really appreciate your help. And I will certainly do this. I'm just happy I wasn't kicked off the live because
No, you're
I
good.
enjoy this live.
No,
Okay,
it's
thanks.
on me.
See you guys.
Bye.
Thank you
Bye,
for
thank
being so
you.
kind, Brenna, and letting me on the panel.
Thank you for being respectful today, Chico.
I always am. But
I'm slightly calmer.
Okay. Bye, Chico.
Always are.
Chico's high energy.
Chico's high energy.
Yeah, well.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I can't make lists like Pizza Steve does. List and notes of things cause me to be very angry.
Why? Because you can't
No
complete 'em?
list. Just the second I see a list of something to do, it infuriates me instantly.
That's your pathological demand avoidance at work.
Yeah, I don't.
Well,
I've
what's
had
funny
enough
is
of that in
I'm
my life.
anxious. I'm an anxious style, so I have to make lists. I'll work until 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, making sure so I don't have to work in the mornings because I'm terrible in the morning. So I'll do like 3 hours, 4 hours of work in the night just so I don't have to do 2, 3 hours of work in the morning.
Yeah.
Right,
same.
I'm not a morning person.
I will. I mean, it's funny because have I told you about lists? My issue with lists, straight edge. So when I say I began experiencing like OCD tendencies during COVID, one of the main triggers was lists. I am a big list person. I usually have a notebook by me. There are pens there are multiple pens within reach of every single place
Me too.
in my
Me too.
apartment.
Me too.
And I went through a phase. I mean, I still have them, but I'm not as active now. Where I was collecting fountain pens and stuff, right?
Oh, yes.
And yeah, so I love lists. I love the dopamine hit I get from writing them, and I love the dopamine hit I get from crossing stuff off physically. However, during the pandemic, I began developing OCD tendencies, and the first sort of symptom was my lists. I would rewrite them over and over and over and over again, and like the same list, even if it was still there, you know, if it was like the next morning, I needed the dopamine hit from writing the list over again, right?
Yep.
Sometimes like it was just a few hours later and I needed that dopamine hit again. I would, you know, after crossing a few items off, it just didn't look right anymore. It was more that it didn't feel right anymore. So I would have to like copy it over. I'd start over, you know, with the same fucking list, and I would spend, and like.
Do you have a this is something that I have that I bump into every now and then. Do you have an issue with asymmetrical things?
Yes and no. I
mean that more from like a design aesthetic, less than like a list aesthetic. Like if you see something out, like, and it's not, I'm not talking about.
I don't like symmetry. I don't like symmetry. I like balance. I don't like symmetry, but I like balance.
I mean, so if something's intentionally supposed to be off center, obviously that's not really what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like if something is done poorly and it's slightly like to the right. Does that drive you nuts?
Yes.
I
but also, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but I think I also feel like
list thing. That was like what I was asking.
Right. Well, for me, it was more just it was more like a vibe that I was going off. You know what I mean? It's hard to explain. I mean, and sometimes, yeah. So I would be like, oh, it's because it's getting messy, right? I'd be like, oh, well, I've written so many things down, or I've like crossed them off. I need to rewrite it without the things that were crossed off. But then I would often rewrite the list with items that I'd already crossed off, just so I could cross them off again. Like it was.
That's interesting.
And I can show you, and this isn't even all of them, but I can show you.
God, I'm gonna make you a list about how to make a list that isn't gonna piss you off.
No, there's no way to make a list that won't ruin my day.
Speaking of OCD, do you know what I'm doing right now, actually, while I'm doing this?
My stack of notebooks. It's not all lists, but it is a lot of lists. A lot of this is lists.
Doing right now while we're doing this, I'm cutting off all the brown tips
and
my plants.
And by the way, I also I've ripped the pages out of some of these that were just lists, because I was like, oh, you know, some of them I had sketches in there. I mean, you know. So some of them I've already removed the list, but you can see well, this is like, some of it was writing. I'm just writing list.
I mean,
most of it is lists. Most of it is lists.
I've got 20 or 30 of those things, and crazy is I've got like these companies like trade secrets and shit in those goddamn things.
Yeah. I like all of these, just fucking lists. And so some of it was sketching when I was like doing the kitchen stuff. List.
Yep.
Like some of these pages have the same list written on them like 2-3 times.
That's different. I haven't ever seen that before. That's actually different.
Yeah. And then this notebook, all of these.
Wait, fucking shit.
And like I said, these aren't even all of them.
Do you have a sentimental attachment to basically anything if you have it around long enough?
No. So the reason I still have these notebooks is, number one, I mean, part of it now is like I kind of want to make a TikTok to show how this like developed, just to be like, look, this kind of happened, and I kind of started developing OCD during the pandemic just through anxiety. But also because the notebooks, some of them have like actual writing, like brainstorming for writing. Some of them have like kitchen plans and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm holding on to them because I want those notes, the writing. I want some of the sketches. I've like designed kind of, furniture stuff in there.
Right.
But I can't bring myself to go through that. I've gone through some of them and torn out a lot of the lists. And, done that so I could keep the stuff that was important. But I haven't really brought myself to go through that whole stack and like tear out all the list because it's, yeah. It's
I get it. I get it.
A little sketchy sketch. Sorry. I'm gonna use the restroom. You're in charge, straight up.
I got it. Okay, guys, we're talking about ADHD specifically and anything autism. Feel free to join the chat as long as you're not a jerk. Because me and God will do things mean. I don't know.
We enjoy dropping people.
Oh, yes, we did. Yes, we did. Were you here the other night when that dude called me a slur
Yeah.
in my own chat?
Yeah. Yeah, you dropped him pretty quick.
What the hell, bro?
There's always a few trolls.
Yeah, I ain't got time for that BS. Eleanor, how are you doing today? Eleanor, how are you? It's always lovely to see you. I apologize for the noise. I'm cutting off brown. On my plant.
Dead pieces of plant.
Yeah, I've got company coming over tomorrow. So
I don't clean when company comes over anymore. I gave up on it. Well, I didn't give up on it. I started taking meds, so I don't care anymore.
Well, I've got to cut all these stupid brown things off because I've got company coming tomorrow, and I need them to make sure that I know that I'm a big boy and I don't let my plants die.
I'm letting my plants die. Ugh.
Brenna, how are you doing?
I'm good.
Good.
Why?
Nothing, because I saw you when I went to bed the other night, and then when I woke up again, and then when I had lunch, and then when I went to try to take a nap.
Yeah, it was quite the weekend. Yeah, I wasn't on here that long last night. And tonight, I don't plan on being here on too late. Philippe's coming over. And Kayla, thank you for sending the tiny tinies.
Now, you be careful with my boyfriend now, all right? You be careful with
24-hour stream, yeah. Oh, yeah, your boyfriend, Philippe?
Yep.
Your boy. I'm sorry, but he's Rizzo's boyfriend, so you're going to have to pick another title.
Well, whatever kind of cult we're joining, just make sure that you got room.
Yeah, right. For all y'all. Philippe is going to be it's going to turn out that Philippe is the charismatic leader that everyone falls in love with.
The concubine.
Yeah. Yep. 24-hour street with, you want to debate? What do you want to debate? Rizzo and you are not exclusive. Whoa, Philippe. Does she know this?
Party time.
You're the cult of personality? All right, let's see.
Fuck.
You got a request. You got a request, Sergio. You can request to join. Thank you. All right, what's up, Sergio?
There you go, Philippe. I appreciate the emote that I know is designated to me. I appreciate that. Thank you.
What's up, Sergio?
Hello.
Hi.
What do you think of mean people?
We're anti-mean people.
Yeah,
except
I
when the
agree with that.
meanness is warranted, which I know is,
It's kind of rare.
Is it? I mean, if someone is
Yeah.
mean to you, do you think it's okay to be mean back to them?
Yes.
I don't know.
You don't know?
I do things for like I've stopped doing things to like that's like true to myself and more just I'm like tactician, like I'm strategizing. What do I want to do about this? How do I go about this? What can I gain from this? So I really haven't had a personality in a while.
You haven't had a personality and you're untrue to yourself?
That's not what it is. That's the confusing part, right?
Well, you
Because
said,
you'll
well,
start.
one of the first things you said was, I'm not really being true to myself. And so I'm
No, I
asking,
didn't say that. I wouldn't
it was
say
one of the
that.
first things you said, but
Oh, no,
sure.
I mean, like, I'm not, I don't really have a personality anymore. When if you ask me, like, if someone's mean to me and what do I respond with? Do I be mean to them? Sometimes I do and sometimes I don't because it's all about strategy for me.
Right, but that sounds like that's a personality that you have there.
No,
Like a disorder, personality disorder.
it's disorder.
No.
I wouldn't go that
What?
far.
How would you define personality?
I don't know.
Okay.
Well,
What seems
How do you
you
define
seem
person?
you see? Well, it's just personal traits, characteristics, in someone's behavior. I guess behavioral patterns that are specific to a person,
Is that for
right?
them or for others?
What's that? Sorry.
Is that for them or others?
What do you mean for them or others?
How can you yourself tell someone that you're engaging in your personality or like this is your personality or whatever?
Oh, I'm not
But
saying I can diagnose or
Your own.
determine someone's personality, but
no, I'm
You
saying
guys-
I'm saying that you're the only person that can determine people's personality.
that's not
Because
necessarily true. That's not necessarily true. If you have a bunch of people that continually tell you that you're a jerk, then you need to start listening to that and be aware of it. If you have a bunch of people telling you you're funny and you don't think you're funny, but you have everybody telling you you're funny, they're diagnosing you as a certain personality trait.
I mean,
That you don't
let's be clear. That's not really diagnosis, but
We're using it as a diagnostic word.
sure.
I think it's like that word personality is so vague that like
Oh,
some
okay,
people
well, Sergio. Well, that's fine. It is vague, but you're the one who came in here. You're the wait. Straight. Thank you, Eleanor. You're the one who came in here and said that you don't think you have a personality. So you must have an idea of what you mean by that, right?
No.
I'm just trying to get to the heart of what you mean by that.
No, just that like I edit myself so many times. You could call that relatable. You could call that strategic. You could call those you could use all these descriptor words. But what is, I'm just gonna be flat out and say it. Like I'm trying to be more liked. I'm trying to be more appreciated, and to do that, it takes some more work. But honestly, most people, I mean, not most people, but most of the time, I wouldn't be very likable, really.
Well, okay. So first off, don't start out by saying that you're unlikable. That's step number one, because
No,
that's obviously self-defeating, right? So, and people say that oh no, it's just a fact. Well, you can change a personality, so it's not a fact. You can change your personality. You can adapt. You can change. So by saying, "Oh, I'm just this," it kind of lends yourself to not being able to change, which you absolutely need to do if you feel like that you're in a position where you want to make more friends and be more likable and all that kind of stuff. So you have to change. That's the first thing that you do. But you're on here talking to people in public, so you got a little personality, obviously. You got in here, so.
The problem is that I could be lying about this whole thing and you wouldn't even realize it.
Right. Well,
then you're
Sergio,
a
that's kind of the
sociopath.
point. But that's fine.
Yeah,
Straight.
but
Sorry,
why,
one
why
sec.
would you do that? Nobody here knows
No,
you
but
in real
Sergio,
life.
no,
You
no,
can
but
say
like
whatever you
let's
wanna say.
get to the fucking logic of it, Sergio. Whether you're lying to be nice to people or lying to troll us, that's fine. That is part of your personality. You know what I mean? So, you're welcome to come up here and be lying. It sounds like you are. That's kind of why you would suggest that, I assume. And I'm trying to get to the point. You're coming in here trying to fool us into responding to you talking about personality. Okay, fine. I'm going to do you the honor and the disservice of taking you at your word. You think you lack a personality. Okay. I'm saying, a lack of personality doesn't mean like I just don't like, no one really lacks a personality. So I'm just trying to get to the heart of like what you think you're saying.
This is what I want to debate. I never said any of that. I like let me speak. So I never said I don't have a personality or I couldn't. I said it'd be hard to perceive. I'd say like it'd be hard to perceive what I may have the wrong idea of what you're. I get what you're saying. Like by lying, by being a little deceptive. That's true. Like that's just a part of me. That is my personality coming out. But what is that? When is that? Just like, I don't want to be so like candid, but that's just like a trauma response. I'm just trying to say like I want to keep things more close to the cuff for myself. But in reality, I really want to tell people more, open up more. So like really like I understand what you're saying. Like that's just now my personality. But if it's never what I feel, it's never what I am. Like. Then like I would love to be more outgoing, and I used to be, but nobody really gave a crap about it. So I just wanted to come in and talk about mean people, and then the assumptions. I'm just like saying like you never know what You never know what I was like going for. Like what is someone if they're just like a combination of a bunch of trauma responses.
That even if your personality is born partially out of trauma, that's still a personality.
I don't think so.
Vanilla ice cream still
but
ice cream.
Sergio, it doesn't matter what you think. That's what psychology says. So it doesn't matter.
That's another problem I have. Isn't psychology just a bunch of books?
No.
Do you think is all science just a bunch of books to you?
No. It's repeatable and
so is psychology.
No, it's not. We can't see our thoughts.
Oh, are you the dude who was in here the other day who was trying to like derail our conversation about cognitive psychology in terms of how synapses work and neurotransmitters work by trying to say, oh, but you can't see thoughts, which is not what were you talking about?
Things. I'm answering your questions when you respond to me because I'm not rude.
Well, let me ask you this, Sergio. Let me ask you this just real quick. Do you believe in general that personalities as a thing exist?
I mean, I think it's a verb. It's like it's an adjective and it's not a noun.
Well, that's very grammatical.
Okay, so
Sergio, I mean, like, do you think it exists?
Sure, yeah, but as an adjective,
as an adjective, okay, not as a noun.
What something as like you can say that somebody has no personality. You can say somebody has it. It's like a descriptor. They have a lot.
Okay, but okay, in that usage, that is still a noun. But sure.
Yeah, that's my bad.
It's fine. Okay, but so we can talk about how you feel about personality, or we can talk about like actual, science and stuff. Like I feel like we keep jumping around and stuff. Sergio, you came in here, you said you don't feel like you have a personality, and you've now denied that you ever said that. I heard you say that. I'm pretty sure Straight Edge and God heard you say that, and probably the chat. Go for it, Victrola. So do you want to debate what personality is in psychology? Like what do you
people? I didn't want to talk about that. I just respond to things.
Okay, but you came in here with a prompt. You asked me about
mean people.
What do I think about mean people?
Yeah.
And I responded to that. Okay, so you prompted that. That wasn't just like a response to something.
Real mean. Like now I'm thinking about it. Like, yeah, you're like, is this the way that you wanted to speak about it? Is this the way that, see, this is why you.
Sergio, I'm sorry that you, I'm sorry.
You're a troll.
Sergio, I'm sorry that your feelings are hurt by people asking questions and attempting to understand you. But maybe that's why you feel so confused about how you're existing in the world, perhaps. It's not mean to ask questions, Sergio.
Bruh, you came in here saying I said this, and then you didn't say it. Started to be gaslighting.
I didn't say I have zero personality. Like I exist with nothing.
I didn't say that, dude.
Okay, let me tell you. May have said I don't believe in the concept, or I don't feel like it is a thing anymore. I feel like it's a blanket term. English has been destroyed so many times by all these people with their priorities.
What people?
What do
people bring up when they talk about personality? Is this person have a good personality? My personal personality preference is this or that or this or that. I'm saying we keep ruining things.
What? Hang on. Who is ruining it?
I'm
Who?
saying mostly because I'm on
Like,
TikTok a lot, where I see all these armchair
I
psychologists.
don't know, Nas. Okay, Sergio, so it seems like you're upset that people have opinions on other people's personalities.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Okay, so you're upset that people are, but that people have preferences and have likes and dislikes and stuff.
Just that.
Just that they have likes and dislikes about other people's personalities.
Discussions go so far that we forget what we're even talking about. Like we've been doing this whole time.
Right, Sergio. That's why we're trying to not forget what we're talking. We're trying to get some clarity here, Sergio.
Things aren't clear all the time.
You're right.
Okay,
They're
so
not clear all the time. So we are trying to see. We are seeking clarity, Sergio. You are upset that people have opinions about other people's personalities, and you're saying that we'll talk about stuff and it like things get unclear and stuff. I'm trying to understand what you're here to say, I guess.
I don't know. I would say that I don't like how I think everything, like to sum everything up now that I can, is that I feel like everything has this tinge of negativity that and it's not like my perception. I don't want to talk about that. I'm saying like everything from the way that you talk. What's your name? Brianna, either from the way that you talk, from the way that the other guys in the chats are, from anything else, from going on TikTok, from seeing things, from the armchair psychologist, it all has this tinge of mean and like, I don't know, unlikable.
Have you ever, and I mean this honestly, and I don't mean this to be rude, I promise you, I'm legitimately asking an honest question. Have you ever contemplated perhaps the thought that maybe it's a bit of a victim complex if you're going everywhere and you feel like everything's against whatever you're thinking? I mean, eventually you have to sit there and look at yourself in the mirror and say, why is everything I'm seeing make me feel this way? Full stop.
That's not what I mean. Well, like for one, like against is different than negative. I could be on the same side of negativity. Right,
but so Sergio, you said that I'm negative. You said that everything you see, everything is always negative. Da da da. I mean that's a very like general thing, but I guess you said okay, maybe you're on the side of negativity. Okay, in that case, I assume you would be happy that everything is negative, right? But
I'm just bringing it up.
You're just sure, okay. But so to you, you're saying everything's negative. You're not on the side of negativity, but also, I know you said you don't want to talk about your perception, but if you are perceiving things differently than everyone else, then we have to talk about your perception, because you saying there's negativity here doesn't necessarily make it so if everyone else is like, we see no negativity here, right? So unfortunately we do have to involve your perception in our understanding of this, I guess. I think sorry?
I don't understand it.
You don't understand what?
I don't understand like sitting there. No, not sitting there, but like I don't understand where it's like I guess like where I go and I'm like, shoot, it's hot. So like, okay, so if I find that, okay, if I were gonna have a child and the child felt lost in the world, and they wanted more direction, I would have to tell them, you're gonna have to do a bunch of things that are very unlikable and to treat you to not the best and all these things. Why? To the point where you're gonna figure out that you don't like certain things, and then you're just gonna try to mitigate that kind of those kind of situations from happening in your life. To this point where that's the only route for any reasonable person to take, is to just mitigate the things that they don't want to do and elevate the things they do want to do. Because then even the things that they want to do come with these back like bad things that might happen with it. So I would say that everything can be just feeling like a bad thing, and I could be on the side of that, and I would say that a lot of people have harnessed it, but I don't. I'm saying like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people are just not able to anymore. I don't have this victim complex. This guy is like all over me on the shit, and it's like, all right, cool. I'm already disregarding everything he says from now on.
Okay,
Sergio, have you been scrolling the social media and TikTok and kind of just studying people? Also, you were the first person I've ever heard say that I was negative about anything.
You called it. You
That
said
has
I had a
never
victim
happened.
complex, brother.
That was
That
me.
was
I
straight
did
edge.
not.
That was me.
I meant to go. I meant to go after that guy.
I'm pretty happy that somebody has finally called me negative in my life. That has never ever happened before.
I didn't mean to call you. I was talking to the guy.
But I'm kind of wondering, because I do that. I scroll through here, and I'm like trying to figure out how people work. Have you been doing that?
No, I just
No.
I have. I think it's passive. I'm on TikTok. I scroll through videos.
Here's
Yeah,
my whole question: is you mentioned earlier that you were saying, well, if you have a kid and you got to tell them you got to do what you got to do, and probably not going to be a good person. I don't find that to be a valid basis for any kind of behavior. There's plenty of people that are wildly successful that aren't mean people. They're very kind and they go about their business doing well. So the premise that you have to be a bad, or not maybe bad, but like a mean, annoying person doesn't necessarily compute really, honestly.
Assumptions. You're using words I never used. I said sometimes you're gonna have to do things that you might not want to do. I'm saying sometimes you might have to be a little bit of a unlikable person every now and then. I
Sure.
need to say worst person and then you'll succeed, but it seems like it, by the way. But anyway, that's just besides the topic. You guys assume so much. You're grasping at things, and I don't like that.
We're not okay, but Sergio, you want us to not ask you questions, and you also want us to not assume. What
You're
is it?
grasping at things. I didn't say those words. I didn't say, oh, you have to fuck over people. I didn't say you have to, like, what the heck? Do we have a place in this world where people listen? No, we don't.
We are listening, Sergio. We are listening. But another part of what you said that, like, straight edge, mentioned, one piece, but what I found interesting about what you said is, if you have a kid, you're gonna have to teach them that, to avoid things that they don't like and go towards things that they do like. And it sounds to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, that this is upsetting to you, that someone has to figure out the things that they want to work towards, or like the positive things, and surround themselves with things that they feel positive emotions about, that they like, and try to, separate themselves, or, keep away things that they don't like, that they have negative feelings about. Is that correct? Am I understanding that correctly?
I don't know, whatever you do when you like it, when you're doing it, sometimes there's going to be some bad times involved in it. Even when, like, and there's never anything where you're going to be like, I had an actually good day. And I don't think, and like, you could just tell yourself that. You can say, oh, I had a good day. But that's like a 90% like consistency for your day.
Right. But so why does that mean that everything is negative?
There's a 10% chance that something bad happened to you in that day, or that there's 10%
right. But
of the thing that did definitely happen to you in that day that was bad.
But Sergio, that's but if 10% is negative, that, like, by definition 90% of it is not negative. So that's not that everything is negative. Right.
Not
So
every day. That's on a good day.
Right.
Therefore,
Okay.
negativity wins even on the good days.
Jesus.
Why? Okay, so you think 10% negativity in a day, when 90% is positive, negativity wins?
Pretty much. I mean, if you
how do you define winning? How do you define
stress out? You still have to worry.
How? I mean, if it's only 10% of the day,
it might compound the next day.
It might, but if 90% of a day is positive, what to you makes negativity win when it's in the minority of a day?
I told you it could compound into the other day. It could.
But Sergio, but that means, but that's fine. That's fine. But I just want to, like, narrow this. Okay, I understand. The next day it can compound, it can grow, and maybe it's 100% negative. But I want to talk about specifically the day that is 90% positive, 10% negative, right? And you're saying that negativity wins out when it's only 10% of the day.
I mean, for yourself, for your feelings. So
not
it's hard
not for me. I'm
saying, like, they say that you only remember the negative things. You tend to only remember the negative things. I can't tell you.
But sure.
Yeah. So
Mostly
like, I can't tell somebody, a newly, like, adulted person that, like, oh, you're gonna remember all the good times, when definitely you aren't, and you're pretty much only gonna remember the bad times.
Sergio, it's not definitely you aren't. In fact, we have positive memories. I have positive memories. Yes, Sergio. Yeah. Like I think you're confusing like a cliche of like, oh, people only remember the bad. That's a cliche, right? And that's an oversimplification. I think you're applying that to sort of like factual understanding. That's not like fact. People do in fact have positive memories. When people say people only remember the bad, that is an expression, and it's an exaggeration. It is hyperbolic. You aren't literally only remembering negative things in life.
By the way, can I say something?
You've been able to, sure.
Just that I remember now that you know what, it's actually on topic because I'm having a negative time right now, and I remember I have been in this chat before. I didn't like it before.
Okay.
Why are you having a negative time though?
Huh? Because I remember. Okay, well, what makes you memorable? What makes anything memorable? Just the negative. How much harm did you cause to others? That's what made it memorable. And you guys have caused me so much just anger right now. I'm gonna remember this. I remembered the last time I was in this chat, and I didn't like it either. Guess what? That's just deep embedded into me. Proof that negativity always remembers. It always lasts.
It's your own proof,
okay,
though.
I think you're forming dopamine currently.
Yeah, Sergio, that kind of sounds.
I mean, that's great wording. Dopamine.
Yeah, dopamine. It's a thing. Sergio,
yeah, and then whenever you disagree with people, you get it. I think that's what you're after.
Yeah, Sergio, I mean, sure, like. I don't know. You're feeling negative right now. No one else here is really trying to, I don't know. No one here is trying to be combative or anything, Sergio. I will say, I feel like you came into this situation looking to create a negative situation. It seems to me that you have this premise that everything is negative, right? And
I just proved it though.
You didn't.
No, you're creating your own narrative.
It's Sergio. It seems like you're creating negative.
You guys can't dissuade it. You can't attack it. You seem to agree with me at every little like juncture that I have.
That's what's upsetting you. That we won't.
That I would disagree with you. I would more say that the whole like I had a bad day situation. That is like a lot of times like some type of chemical you're releasing in your brain. It's not an attack on you, but sometimes it's physiological. So there, we could understand, right?
Go on.
That's
it. Like I don't have to go on about it. That's just it.
Also, Sergio, yeah, and thank you, Michael. Yes, and I think that's kind of what God was trying to suggest when he was saying like maybe this is like a dopamine, like a search for dopamine, because we talk about that in here, right? That counterintuitively, arguing with people can release dopamine, right? And anger and stuff.
I'm not enjoying this. I don't think I'm enjoying this at all. I wanted to leave. I just don't want to rage quit in front of you people. I'm not having a good time with this.
Gracefully leaving is fine.
We won't judge.
I'm really saddened by all three of you.
Sir,
not God really, but I am saddened right now to just imagine that it's like, I don't know, armchair therapists, like our armchair, like people are like, oh, I read these books, I'm psychologically aware, it's tiresome.
I agree with you. You should not listen to armchair therapists, generally speaking. As a general rule, you shouldn't. What you should do is you should be able to go to a real therapist privately that's under HIPAA and be able to talk to them in a one-on-one situation and let them give you their thoughts. That way you're not sitting here trying to listen to people who have no, credentials, don't have the experience, don't have the specialty in what you're trying to do. Personally, sometimes people can be dicks. I have a problem with dealing with people sometimes like that too. That's why I go to a therapist so I can say, hey man, are my feelings real or am I just tripping because I'm a sensitive dude? I need to figure that out on my own. Not saying you're sensitive, I'm just saying in general for myself. So don't listen to armchair therapists as a general rule. Go to a real therapist that has the credentials that can help.
I don't really mean that. I'm trying to jump into conclusions for you guys. I'm sure you guys are not even like that at all. I just don't like this. Like, I really don't like the field of psychology in the most part. I wouldn't say it's helping much people right now. I do have a therapist appointment tomorrow myself, and I'm very glad that I was able to come into this. I was allowed to show up and bring my unique perspective to things just a little. So I just really want to say I appreciate that.
There you go.
But yeah, I don't mean to call any of you like. I feel like almost though the wording I meant was like, I feel like it's almost like too much pseudo intellectualism, and even for me, I kind of feel like I indulged in it as well. If I'm seeking any dopamine, it's the rush of somebody interacting with my points and coming at them at an intellectual level. However, it does get kind of pretentious and preachy.
I mean,
That can happen.
yeah, that can happen, Sergio, for sure.
I wouldn't go that far as to say that I was pretentious and preachy. I'm saying
I
like I
would,
don't.
but sure.
Okay, thank you. At
You're
least
welcome.
someone else would, because like that's nice. Like I love to hear that it gets tiresome as well. I love to hear that I was a little bit overblown in my thinking. That is nice to hear. It's like I would rather have a dumb conversation about hot dogs or something.
Okay, so Sergio, why didn't you hop in here and start talking about hot dogs? You
Talked about
again,
mean people. I thought that would be
Right.
simple.
did you really? Well, I mean,
if you're ever looking for someone just to disagree with you, Sergio, I would definitely do that, and my feelings don't get hurt, and I don't bother get
I
hurt.
live off
No,
hot
let's
dog.
not discredit Sergio because honestly, you know what?
It is fun.
I feel the same way sometimes. You know, I could kind of like get into a live sometimes and be like, well, I thought maybe I had a point to say, but then all of a sudden, like that point wasn't necessarily addressed or you know what I'm saying? Like,
sure.
I get what you're saying.
in a small way, I could understand that.
Conversations are
Sure.
imperfect. Sometimes people take the wrong things out, and I was kind of getting upset at that. But I don't know. I wanted to talk about how mean people, and I guess the deepest I could get with that is that sometimes I feel they're annoying, obnoxious haters, and they probably have a lot of shit going on for themselves. But I just was like, I don't know, maybe we could have spoke on that, and then we wouldn't have got into the weeds about psychology and whatever books people read.
Right. Well,
I don't really-
Sergio, we're kind of just picking up what you've been laying down from the beginning here. You know, you wanted to
I
talk
don't
about
remember.
mean people. You don't remember us doing that?
No, I don't remember what I said at first now. Something about personalities or something like.
Yeah. You asked.
Remember.
Well. So, according to my recollection, you asked what I think about mean people, and I said I dislike mean people. I am anti-mean people, and then I said, well, I guess if you could probably respond to a mean person by being mean, in that case, warranted meanness. I guess I'm more supportive of that, and you responded to that by saying, by talking about how you feel that you have been not true to yourself lately, and just I feel like this is my understanding.
You said
you've been
very
feeling
meticulous and strategic. Yeah.
You've been feeling very meticulous and strategic, and perhaps misrepresenting yourself to people in order to get them to like you, and you said that you don't think you have a personality anymore. And then I started asking you what you meant by that. I wanted to understand what you meant by not having a
I can
personality.
actually answer that right now.
Great.
I mean that I just I've been kind of suppressing it. I may have a personality, but what is it? I guess that's where I wanted to get into it, is that if I have a personality and I'm thinking to myself, I got to suppress that, right? And then but then after I tell you how I suppress it, or how I respond, or how I just try to be strategic, you're going to say, that's actually a part of your personality. And I was just going to say, well, I don't know at that point.
Sure.
Because if you have something in the background, I mean, it's like I'm driving two cars, which one's your car? I don't know, and they're like,
Right.
oh, what color is it? I don't know. They're both kind of brown.
Right. Okay, so I mean, it sounds like Sergio, and this is kind of also what I was trying to figure out near the beginning.
And then you come in, wait, and then you come in, and then you're like, well,
Thank
actually,
you.
both of those cars, that's actually both. Those are actually both your cars and both your personalities. Like what? No, I can.
Well, sure, Sergio.
drive one
I mean,
day.
well, Sergio. I mean, please, don't speak for me, but I will say, like, yes, by like actual, like, by definition, and this is, by the way, this is what I was asking you questions in order to understand what you meant by, not being true. I asked, you said, okay, you're not being true to yourself, and that's why you feel like you don't have a personality. And then you said, no, it's not that I'm not being true to myself. It's just that, I don't have a personality whatsoever. And I've been trying to understand, Sergio, and you've been getting upset whenever I've been asking questions in order to understand. And we've been pivoting with you every step of the way. I've let you basically define this conversation every step of the way. We have followed your direction.
Thank you.
What's up?
No, just thank you. Thank you for doing that.
You're welcome. But so if you're upset, I mean, if you don't want to keep talking, feel free to hop off. That's fine. No one's gonna hold it against you. But
I just appreciate you.
Okay. Thank you. But so if you want to keep talking about meanness, I would say, like, okay, you feel like you haven't been true to yourself, and that's why you feel like you don't have a personality. And yes, I will be pedantic, and I'll say, well, it sounds, not like the way you act. Like, personality encompasses not like thoughts and behaviors and feelings, right? So even if your behaviors are not reflective of your thoughts, that doesn't necessarily, I mean, that is part of your personality, right? That you are behaving in a way that you feel is not reflective of your actual thoughts. That's still a part of your personality. But it seems like the issue that you're struggling with right now is that you don't feel like is that disconnect, that you feel you're unable to behave in accordance to your real thoughts. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah.
Thank you, Eleanor. I can't hear you, Sergio.
Oh no, yeah, I said yeah.
Okay, cool. So if that's what you want to talk about, let's talk about it.
No, I'm just, I don't want to talk about that. I think we already got there. I think we've already done it. It is kind of like, yeah, it's like can you teach an old dog a new trick? What is my new trick? Editing my personality, being meticulous. That's a new trick. Does that, and what you're saying is just because now that you have that is a part of you. So it's like, that is now you. And I understand that, but it does feel like the other me who would never want to do that is still there.
Sure. Well, yeah. So, I mean, the other you being your thoughts versus your behaviors and stuff. And I can understand how that would feel frustrating. And can I ask, I mean, like, you obviously sound pretty unhappy about this. I'm curious if you might think like that is where your feelings that everything is negative are coming from. If you don't want to talk about how everything is negative or how you feel that everything is negative, then we don't have to talk about that. But if you don't want to talk about this anymore, we don't have to talk about it anymore. We've
already got it. I mean, if you want to assume that, then sure. I'm
not trying to assume anything. I'm asking you so that I'm not.
That's what I'm saying. Like if I just feel like I have all these personalities or whatever, and then like all this negativity is still lying around. To me, I believe that as truth, and that's not an emotional response. That's just truth.
It's your emotional truth, right? Like, it's true to you. It's your perception that everything is negative, but I don't.
Yeah.
I don't perceive everything as negative. That doesn't. And my perception is, like,
I'm sorry, I didn't even, another thing too is, like, right now I'm feeling a little embarrassed and on the spot. And so I want to introduce myself. I'm Sergio, and I wanted to say, who are you? Who are you? Straight edge? Is that what they call you? I think he left. And you are Brianna Perez?
I'm Brenna.
No, I was doing some stuff. That's what they call me. They call me straight edge.
Straight edge. And God, they call you God?
Yeah, pretty much.
Always God.
Is there something else that I can? I would say that yeah. I mean, if you want to perceive that, if you want to say like, yeah, I'm a little negative or whatever, but yeah, like yeah, I mean that can come up to it. But I haven't analyzed it and said, oh, because of my feelings of multiple personalities, that's why I feel negative or any of that. I'm sure it is. I'm sure dealing with these like inner conflicts makes me feel like everything is so negative, but I also feel like it's the truth. So sometimes I accept it, and then you know, it's kind of like complicated, vague kind of stuff. You know, I don't think it's that much more interesting anymore because we kind of went down it, Brenna.
Sure. Okay. All right. So you're satisfied with what we've talked about?
I'm satisfied.
All right.
I'm also disappointed you didn't say my name.
Yeah, you didn't introduce yourself to Christian or Maiko.
I'm chill, man. You're good.
No, you're good, man. I appreciate it.
He doesn't appear on the boxes here.
Oh, he doesn't?
No, it's just a crown and an M. It's better to choose short names. That way your whole name shows up.
I can see it.
I see Maiko.
If you guys clicked on my name, it's Miko Marcus because I affiliate myself with like 3 different. I have a lot of overseas friends, so and that's how
Mycology, Mykonos, and Marcus, right?
Yeah, that's how they mispronounce my names.
Miko, Maiko, Marcus.
Say my name. No one is. Sorry.
Well, then, mostly since what I can see in your name is a crown, I'll just call you King.
King. Oh, that's fine. Okay.
No, don't do that. Only if you want to, though.
Now I'm curious. Yeah, I'm curious to see what you're.
You can call me King God. You can call me King any day of the week.
No. You're Pizza
man,
Steve.
we're off the rails now, aren't
You're stuck with Pizza Steve forever.
Pizza Steve.
Fine, it's just my feelings. Don't need those anyway.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Great. Okay. So, does anyone else have a topic we want to talk about? What should we talk about next?
Tattoos.
Tattoos? We want to talk about tattoos. What about tattoos?
That's a good topic.
Tell me, anybody got any cool tattoos planned?
No, but it sounds like you might.
Does anyone else have any tattoos?
Fucking knew it.
Turkish dragon on my
tattoos.
chest and on my arm.
Wait, what's that? It's Christian?
I got a Turkish dragon on my chest and on my arm.
There you go.
Nice.
There you go.
What makes it a Turkish? Is a Turkish dragon? Is a Turkish dragon? Is that like the name of like a specific type of dragon, or like what makes it Turkish?
A Turkish guy gave it to me.
Oh, okay. Got it. So you have a Turkish tattoo?
Yeah.
Okay, of a dragon.
Merhaba, hoş geldiniz. Yeah.
Hoş geldiniz. Evet.
Evet? What?
Where'd you learn?
My girlfriend.
Oh, nice. I had a few of those.
Yeah, where are you from, brother?
No, I'm not from. I was stationed out there for a long time.
I was in Incirlik.
Oh, Incirlik? Oh
Yeah.
man, I never got to go down there.
Oh well, I honestly I don't know. I almost got married there.
Really?
Yeah.
I heard it got shut down. I heard like they well, not shut down, but I heard that they were on lockdown for a really long
kind of
time.
like they just shut down Instagram. What the hell?
They just what? Shut down Instagram?
Yeah, the Turkish government just shut down Instagram.
Oh yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Erdogan.
Woo!
Yep.
Man, Erdogan, yeah.
What do we
Erdogan.
make of that? Like, I don't even know.
I mean, I consider what he did this last election kind of cheating. I mean, I consider it cheating. Like, just paying off people's, like...
Wait. Who are you talking about, first of all? Let's
Erdogan? I assume Erdogan.
Yeah,
Erdogan.
Erdogan.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of people there aren't happy with that, but... Okay.
Yeah. But, I mean, he's got the rule of vote. He's got the heavily, like...
You know, I saw that too... Obviously, I'm not there, but I did see that 2 different ways. I did see it as a Well, I don't know that's a complicated way, but I honestly believe that what I heard, and I don't host. Is it okay if I put heresy into here? I don't want to
What do
say
you mean? Heresy in what sense? What do you mean?
meaning that it may not be accurate or true.
We fact check here, so go for it, but we will fact check.
All right. So what one thing I heard is that it was based off the fact that Instagram would not let the citizens of Turkey post.
Thank you, Nan. Thank you for subscribing.
It would not let them post things about Hamas. If that makes sense.
Say
with that
H
word
group.
here.
Let's say H. Yeah, careful
I'm
with.
sorry, I did not realize that was censored. So, but no, I have no problem. But I heard it was because Turkey did not like Instagram censoring its people.
Yeah, they're heavily like pro-Palestinian over there. So
Careful. Pro-pal, please.
Oh, pro-pal. I didn't know. My bad.
Hey,
It's
B, I
fine.
got a
We
dip.
just.
I got a dip.
Okay, straight edge. Well, hopefully you'll come back.
I shall. Y'all have a
Thank
good
you for
night.
hanging out.
I gotta eat. Good chatting with y'all.
But
you
by the
too.
way,
Later,
I am
pizza
not
Steve.
creating a
Later.
situation where we're going to debate against it. I don't want that. That's just what I heard today. So
No, that
So
makes
I'm
sense,
sorry.
though.
I'm trying to understand what you're saying. That you heard that IG is censoring mentions of PAL.
in the country of Turkey, yes, exactly.
I thought you said that Turkey like blocked the gram. Did it remove the whole thing entirely?
Well, no,
Or?
in response to the
I understand.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
in response to the like censorship that was happening,
Yeah.
again, that's why they removed them. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, let me look that up.
I'm not sure if it's true though. Like
I know. So well, let's fact check it. Let's see if we
Yeah.
can find out. Let's see.
A lot of the friends that I used to talk to over there, they were very pro-pal, and they would post about it all the time. When not well before. Can you say October 7th? What's a date? Like,
Okay, yeah. So you're right. You're right. So according to Erdogan, I don't know if it's Erdogan or Erdogan, but he said so. They shut it down. They shut down IG in Turkey on Monday. So I guess today, right?
wow.
And at first they didn't say why, but oh no, wait, sorry, no, they closed it down August 2nd, and today he made comments saying that it was for quote digital fascism, for censoring posts about PAL, for censoring pro-PAL voices. Yeah, you're right. It sounds like it.
That's crazy.
Also, you know what else? So the reason why I
fantastic.
bring it up is because my online girlfriend is Iranian and she lives in Turkey, and I'm just a little bit worried because I also heard that our Senate was like trying to go to Congress about like declaring. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say that word, but against Iran.
Like,
Oh yeah, yes, yeah.
Where does Iran lay?
What?
Where does
Sorry,
Iran?
what is your what's your question, Miko?
No, there's not a question. I'm just worried because my girlfriend lives in Turkey, who happens to be an Iranian citizen that now has a social media platform blocked, right, or shut down. That now our country is kind of like saying, "Hey, we're gonna go do things to Iran," and I'm just a little bit worried and freaked out and stressed.
Yeah, it is freaky. I understand your worry.
Where does Iran land
On what?
on the issue?
On the issue of war?
on the issue of the state, the strip.
Pal, they're generally supportive of Pal.
And America would retaliate because of that.
I guess. Yeah, the U.S. is very proudly and ally, but the U.S. But
that's in question now.
So that is it's so they have been warning is that if they start a war with Iran or whomever, that they're not going to follow them. But at the same time, it's been sort of double speak, right? Where they're saying like, you better not, we're not going to help you if you're starting shit. But also being like, well, we're going to help you no matter what. You know what I mean? Well, there's been double speak, and it's because of the unfortunately very, very close diplomatic relations between the two countries.
I don't think it's double speak necessarily. I think what Biden is saying is we will support the Iron Dome, help you, thwart rocket attacks, so forth and so on. But we will not provide offensive weaponry if you step out of line and, actually try to attack Iran or attack all these other targets. Go deeper into Yemen, do all this other stuff.
Right, but while simultaneously also, but the U.S. has provided offensive equipment, weaponry, just equipment. While saying this, they have not slowed down. You know what I mean? So
that was based on treaty. That was based on law that we agreed to, that Congress signed off on.
Right, but Christian, but Congress has,
and then Congress got mad at him and was like, hey, like, why aren't you sending these offensive weapons? Even though Biden already stated that he's not going to send it if they're being used to, like, we're not going to send offensive bombs if they're being used to just bomb random,
careful with that word, yeah.
Civilians. So
careful with the B word.
If they don't attack, I guess, random civilians, and Israel has been out of military targets for a while now. So I mean, we don't really see a legitimate military solution out of this right now. So we're kind of looking at it like, well, I mean, what does a legitimate offensive target look like? Like, that's what they have to convince the executive branch of at this point. And a lot of people are just having trouble doing that. So I do look at the future of this conflict as a little bit optimistic, because like at a certain point, I mean, Netanyahu can't just keep killing civilians.
Taking civilians,
unaliving like civilians forever. You know what I mean?
Right. The conflict between.
Well, so actually, sorry. Before you go, Miko, I would just say, sure, he can't keep unaliving, taking civilians forever, but that's not the question, right? But he doesn't need to do it forever. Unfortunately, like the issue, I'm sure you're hopeful and stuff, but the issue is like, okay, but in the meantime, if he runs out of people to unalive, he's still unaliving all those people in the meantime. You know what I mean? Like it's still an issue. But setting that aside, the question you were originally responding to like what I said, I feel like is double speak. Yes, like we have been, Congress has been signing, aid bills into law while, sorry, someone just rang my door. While Biden specifically has been like, hey, this is conditional, but the conditions never actually materialize. But there are also instances, I'm coming, where it's like within the same paragraph, it's like, oh yeah, we're urging them not to do this. We're urging, we're strongly urging is not to like start a war with Iran, And then when asked, like, okay, in that same sort of like interview or whatever, okay, you know, does that mean that like the support is conditional? America's support of is conditional, and the answer is always like, no, it's unconditional. And it's like, okay, so sorry, one sec.
No problem. I'm going to go and say it is conditional, because it seems like every time we get into a scuffle with Iran, it's always over the WMDs they're producing. You know, so it's always political, right? Geopolitical, but it just seems like every once in a while, every time we lose traction on something, it's like, oh, now Iran's bad people again.
It was
You know, so
we
that's just where I'm
involved
at
in
with it.
Iran because of the war against communism, wasn't it?
Chill, whatever, with Chiefs. It's
I,
fine.
I mean,
Hi, Chiefs. Sorry.
Saddam was
Iran is
sympathetic
not a
to Russia's efforts, and America was just like, no, we don't want that. And Iran was more lefty, kind of like we would allow women to dress however they wanted, and more American until the Irish Spring happened.
I
don't want to be too divisive,
know,
but
that was under the
Islam
sun.
would never come up with Chewy Spree as a gummy, you know, like as a candy.
What?
Wait, what?
But Islam wouldn't, is what you're saying?
Yeah, categorically speaking, Islam, in terms of Abrahamic religions, would not come up with Chewy Spree.
If they had the same like historical upbringing as the United States, then they wouldn't bring up Chewy Spree. They wouldn't invent it.
I think that this is categorically, it cannot be said of the Muslims
Yeah.
that they
What,
don't have that
Sergio?
technology.
He says that he's basically saying that if we had any, if they were in charge, they wouldn't have made Spree.
No, you're completely. Sorry, let me be precise. Chewy Spree, that's a very, very specific type.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm lost. What is this? What is Chewy
He said a
Spree?
joke. It was good. Like he said that the Islam would not invent Chewy Spree. That's it.
What is Chewy Spree?
Oh my God, you haven't had Chewy Spree?
Okay, it is a candy. All right. No, I mean, okay, that's initially what I thought, and then I was like, surely I am misunderstanding this. Okay, you're saying that categorically Muslims would not invent Chewy Spree, the candy. Is this a joke?
Yes.
Yes, it's a joke.
Okay,
but
cool.
here's what's
Sorry.
not a joke.
Under the
I think that we
Abrahamic
should.
religion.
I think that we should bomb Israel.
Hey, whoa.
Whoa.
Who said that? Don't say that. Who the fuck said that? Who said that?
Like the new guy on top said it. I'm
Oh,
snitching.
you can't say that. All right, goodbye.
Why would you
Wow.
even think
Thank
that?
you.
know,
What did they say? I was laughing and did not hear.
That's cool.
They said we should be is.
Yeah.
Oh.
Did he say Israel?
Oh, he took a very hard stance.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, not only the full name, but he said the full word be. We should be Israel. I think he's just trying to get
we
me.
can't say that.
He's just trying to get me banned. So.
So Kirsten, it's good to meet you, buddy. You're the first person that even knows anything about Turkey I've ever met on this TikTok app.
Really?
Other than Turkish people I hang out with.
I don't know anything about Turkey.
Oh, I thought you.
That's cool. It's good to meet you. I never meet people that know anything about Turkey, so
Yeah, no, that's cool. I want to go down to Antalya. That's where my girl's at. I want to go there so bad.
All I know about Turkey is that once Hungary attacks Turkey, it's over.
Yeah, but you got the Kurds up there. You know, I mean.
They'll just go after the Kurds instead if they're hungry.
Yeah. Okay. Comic.
Do you get the
I know
joke?
about Turkey.
I do.
Turkey has some really good archaeological sites.
yeah, in the north part of the country, it's definitely true.
Yeah, they're on it's the yellow. Wait, no, when I was in Korea, it was the yellow.
What have
sea.
you got there?
I know
A new doggy.
if Hungary attacks, then I'm sure that that Greece will slow them down for sure.
Thank you, Dan.
Yeah, I don't think
Hungary
Greece is
attacks,
slowing
they're
down
gonna be-
anybody attacking Turkey. Like I think
Do you guys get my jokes? These are food and eating puns.
He's
I'm
making
just-
jokes
I'm
about
trying to
Turkey.
feed into it.
Okay. Chiefs knows you're giving a treat. Sorry.
Greece
This
is
is
definitely
Chiefs.
gonna slow them
Hi,
down.
Keith.
Cheap.
Sorry.
Oh.
Chiefs wants treats. Sorry.
Is that a dachshund or what? What was
Yeah,
that?
it's like a mini dachshund. It's Philippe's sister's dog. He's taking care of her for the week, so she's come over to play.
Oh yeah, I know Fleet very well.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to entirely derail this.
My jokes
Oh,
didn't
it was just-
land. It doesn't.
They were funny jokes. I just mute.
Thank you. Thank you,
Food
bro.
jokes
I knew
are
they
always
were
good.
funny. I knew it. I was like, dude, what if Hungary attacked Turkey? That would be that would lead to a disaster. They would...
That's a pretty classic.
Oh, hey, by the way, how many birds does it take to make a flock?
A what?
A flock.
I don't know. 7?
Well, it's not. It's
Once the
actually
trees
not
come
even
out,
joke.
it'll be
It was Googled. Like, I can't believe I'm just getting serious about it. Like, who gets serious about a flock of birds? But
What's going on with a flock of birds?
like, how many birds does it take to make a flock?
I think it's 3+, right? Technically.
I
Yeah, 3
think
plus.
so. But it's very convoluted. If you actually Google it, it's all like, well, it depends on the type of bird.
All right, let's see.
It's so weird. It's like, well,
Yeah, it
you
would,
know,
it would
Okay,
take
yeah.
more of the smaller birds, less of the larger birds.
I've looked. Yes, look it up. Technically, 2 or 3 birds are generally not thought of as a flock, but there's no set number of birds that is needed to call it a flock. All right.
hey, now look up what it's called when those Canadian geese fly in a V. It's like it's such a simple word, but I can't pronounce it.
Philippe, do you know what it's called when Canadian geese fly in a V? He's a bird guy.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's
Are
a
you from
birder.
Canada?
He's not from Canada, no, but he's a bird guy. The best film about it is called Wing Migration, by the way.
Okay.
But you don't know what it's called? He says he forgets what the assembly is called. Let me look it up. I put a lot of pressure on him. Yeah. A formation, a school, a gaggle. What is V of geese? I don't even know how to ask this. Okay, there we go. A V of geese is,
Sounds official.
let's see. Geese in V formation. Oh God, you're giving me a whole blog. I'm not seeing like a name.
Do you have an answer?
Do you have the answer?
I think you might be asking me. It was like something IEV something. Key. No, it's
Oh, it's well, geese tend to fly in what is called a skein more often than a V.
yeah.
It's ducks that fly in a V. Okay.
Is that what it is? Okay. Okay.
So
skein?
geese skein or skein.
The skeins, because one of the
skein.
lines is longer than the other.
Skein. Okay. Is it pronounced skein or skeen?
Ask Felipe.
Is it called skein or skeen, Philippe? He's never heard that term.
I'm pretty sure
I've heard it. I've
skein.
read it because you also call it a skein or skeen is also the term you use for wool, like not like wool comes in skeins or skeins. Let me hear how to pronounce skein. Skein. It's pronounced skein.
Okay. Well, that was my random fact of the day, everybody.
Well, thank you, Miko.
You're welcome.
Sounds
So
made up.
Sounds good.
I know, right?
She had to Google. That we had to research.
Okay. What else we got? You
What
guys
do you
can
call
go
a
on.
moose?
I'm done
What
with
do you
my.
call a moose without a name?
A moose without a name. What do you call a moose without a name? What do you call a moose without a name?
Anonymous.
Anonymous.
Love it.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Can I? Oh, I have a joke.
Let's hear it.
If you get a virus on your computer,
Thank you,
and
Dan.
it's from China, is it technically called malware?
Malware.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, it is.
Chairman
I like
malware.
that. I like that. Good job.
Thank you. I made that one up by myself.
Riz,
That one,
chill.
that one is comes straight from my head.
That
I
was
love the
good
one
job.
you make it by yourself.
I come up with a lot of little puns like that. But I don't feel very like confident in saying them all the time.
Are you a
Well,
father?
we love dad jokes in here.
Really?
Yes.
My favorite joke is, why don't snakes wear vests?
Why?
Because they don't have any arms.
I don't get
I believe
it.
that's technically called an anti-joke.
I think that's just not. I think that's just a fact.
That's called. I think it's called an anti-joke. You know what I mean?
know is why don't
Because it is-
skeletons fight each other?
Why? Because they're
Because they
dead.
don't have the guts.
Because they don't have the guts.
Dang it.
I'm a fan of a good anti-joke, but I will like side eye you when I hear it.
These jokes right now.
You can't what?
These are
I can't
dead.
defeat these jokes.
I know. Sorry. So
We can't-
I am.
Can't tell any jokes. The woke
I will
mob is
say,
gonna
guys,
conquer us.
since we are talking jokes right now, and we've seen a sort of natural pause in the debate, I am gonna unfortunately hop off because I have to keep an eye on these dogs because my dog. We've just introduced a new dog into the home, and I don't want my dog to beat her up. My dog is rarely the bigger dog in any situation, and she is compared to Cheebs, and so I just got to keep an eye on them. I may be on later for a little bit, but I don't want to make any promises. But thank you all. Thank you all for hanging out tonight.
Bye, buddy.
Say hi, Philippe and Rick.
Losers.
Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Have a
Thank
great
you,
rest of the night.
mods. Yeah, you too. Hopefully, I'll be on later.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye bye.